Hypocrites are circling the wagons like crazy now. It goes something like this. If we can't trust our professional athletes to play by the rules, who can we trust? What's wrong with the world? Lance Armstrong has admitted to using performance-enhancing drugs. He revealed it to Oprah, the hero of many. Now, for those of you who don't know, a big aspect of performance enhancing drugs is typically estrogen blockers. You block out the estrogen and you become a better athlete. But performance enhancers, there's a lot of other kinds. Specifically to our culture, there are introspection blockers, estrogen blockers, introspection blockers, and potential blockers. Now, estrogen blockers used the wrong way. That's a steroid. You can't use that. But potential blockers and introspection blockers, those are performance enhancers that are excellent. Let's get started. Got some notes. So Oprah socks it to this guy who would cheat and use estrogen blockers. And of course the question is, what kind of guy would betray a culture that gives him millions of dollars and hero status for riding a bicycle? So this guy's good at riding a bike, and he's heroified, he's a millionaire, he's set for life, and people sell products by saying, hey look, this guy that's good at bicycling wants you to buy our product. He's a millionaire. That's an introspection blocker. He's not thinking, how should I play by the rules and do fair things? He's like, you know what? However I get to the end, the means aren't important. The end justifies the means. And if I have to use estrogen blockers to be a hero in the eyes of people, that's a small price to pay. I'm going to be a hero, a millionaire, for riding a bike well. Why would anyone pay someone millions of dollars to ride a bike well? Well, because then people can live through him and be fat and lazy, or they can be athletic and look to him. He can be the pacing bike, however they call it, and everyone can chase after that. He's a good example. But he's not a good example. He used estrogen blockers, yeah, and he was fed introspection blockers for a long time, caused him to use the estrogen blockers. Doing the right thing, setting a good example, but for the wrong reasons. Oprah talked to him, and she said, how could you do this? Well, before Oprah, actually, let me say, he's in hot water also for chastising people who were trying to blow the whistle on him. His masseuse, for example. So you have this masseuse, and all she was trying to do is take out his potential to make millions of dollars. That's all, and maybe make a couple of tens of thousands of dollars by being famous for pointing that out. Maybe she wasn't that nefarious, but all she's trying to do is blow the whistle on Lance Armstrong. So let's compare the difference of blowing whistles on Lance Armstrong, where he sues you and speaks mean about you, to Bill Clinton. Of course, Bill Clinton is that hero who's a really nice guy, and the only bad thing he ever did was get a blowjob, when actually he was bombing countries throughout all his presidency. And there are plenty of women who are rumored to have tried to blow the whistle on him for similar sexual behavior, and he had them killed. He wouldn't do that. He would only bomb other countries every day of his presidency, something that a lot of people don't know anything about. But he would never have a woman killed just to advance his political agenda so that he doesn't lose his political office and millions of dollars. Why would he have women killed for that? So go back to sleep on that. But I'll tell you, if you're going to blow a whistle on somebody, blow it on Lance Armstrong and he'll sue you and stuff. Don't blow it on Bill Clinton. He might have you killed. But he's just that friendly guy. Hey, I'm that friendly guy. All I do is get blowjobs. I don't bomb countries constantly. You didn't hear it on TV, so it didn't happen. Also, Oprah. She's a celebrated millionaire also. So she's a billionaire. A celebrated billionaire gets Lance Armstrong on her show and says, hey, listen here, did you lie? I don't even, the tone doesn't matter, but Oprah, this pillar of not using performance enhancement drugs, wait for it. Hey, why would you do that? Oh, don't you think you cheated people, this, that, and the other thing? Says the woman who will wear the high heels to make herself taller, a performance enhancing drug, because studies have shown that if you're taller, people will take you more serious. Wearing the clothes and the styles that shape her just well. Performance-enhancing drugs. People have shown that if you wear clothes right, people will take you more serious. Keep going, Oprah. What else do you got? Well, she has lots of makeup, of course. Performance-enhancing drug. It makes people take you more serious. What else do you got? Well, as a black woman, you certainly can't go into the United States of KK America with your afro. So what you should do is burn your hair. Pull a Nat King Cole. Introspection block. That asshole. Introspection blockers. She wouldn't be thinking, I'm setting a pretty bad example for everyone by meticulously falsifying myself, by wearing shoes that deform my feet, by wearing clothes that are expensive even as there are people that need, by painting up my face so boys and girls have an unrealistic expectation as to what a woman can look like. Oh no, look at me. Now I don't look like a pug. I look like a pug with eye makeup on. How about be real? And of course, the hair thing. What example does that set to black people, black children? Hey, look, I can burn my hair. Look, now I don't have an afro, so I'm marketable. Performance-enhancing drugs. But, don't get me wrong, there's no hypocrisy in that. To have somebody on your show, you know what, use the performance-enhancing drugs. What if he had turned around? So did you. Well, no, mine are all sanctioned by the FDA. Okay, you're still a hypocrite. So we got Oprah. Now imagine we have Oprah's bodyguards, and the bodyguards of these type of people who would get him on a show and say, how dare you do this? Those bodyguards, they got introspection blockers their whole life. A lot of the bodyguards of these famous people are former military. A lot of former military are former sports kids. Go into sports, or at least they love sports, aggressive sports. Then they go into the military, then they become security guards for people like Oprah. But imagine, what did they do in the military? Well, they certainly lowered their potential by just following orders. We'll get more into that with snipers. Introspection blockers. That's a performance-enhancing drug. Hey, shoot that guy in the head. Okay. Don't think about it. Meticulous training in boot camp, not to think about it. Meticulous training elsewhere, not to think about it. A performance-enhancing drug. It's called an introspection blocker. Like the estrogen blockers that make you have less estrogen so you're stronger. Yeah, you're going to take more headshots as a military person. You're going to kill more people without thinking. Then you get out of it and you're like, well, I can't just kill people without thinking, so that's my skill is to be violent. I might as well protect Oprah. So they got performance-enhancing drugs in their system too, but those are the legal kind. Speaking of Oprah, we just generally, men and women have performance-enhancing drugs running through their systems by design of this poisonous culture. Women, as Oprah demonstrates, they wear deforming shoes, they wear form-fitting clothes, they wear this makeup, they fix everything. Every single aspect of their physicality is a meticulous lie. I don't like this about me. I don't like that about me. I don't like that. I know that men won't like this about me. I know men won't like that about me. Or just, I don't like it. And eventually they're in the mirror every day. Okay, what do I hate about my face today? Okay, this, that, and the other. Draw it up, put these things on. So that's the women's physical lies. The men, they get spiritual lies. They get to see that person, be socially engineered to be addicted to that person, and they get to tell the spiritual lie of, oh, every single aspect of you is a meticulous lie. I find you a very honest person. I feel like I can trust you. That's the man's lies, to pretend this woman isn't full of lies. But these are performance-enhancing drugs. These are potential blockers. These are introspection blockers. You can take them. You can't take too much estrogen blockers, but you can take potential blockers and introspection blockers. You can paint and carve yourself up and go, I just want to be taken seriously. Oh, certainly. Well, I'll just take a thought blocker for that one. That's performance-enhancing. Yeah, this woman probably tells the truth. She lies about every aspect of what she looks like, meticulously, neurotically, but she probably tells the truth. Thought blockers. Chris Benoit, the steroid thing. Chris Benoit is a former wrestler. He killed his family and his kids, and so a lot of people say, well, that's one of the reasons steroids is bad, and why Lance Armstrong is bad for setting the example and showing that you really can't get anywhere in professional sports. If everyone's using drugs, you can't compete with them unless you use drugs. But no, it's this small problem. No, we'll get more to that. All of them are using these drugs. Chris Benoit killed his family, killed himself, because he had roid rage. You know what steroids do? They really just help you build up. If you don't exercise right, they just make you fat, but they help you build up. So you know what you get when you have a small, or at least a weak, unprincipled man who's forever treated like a weak man, and he's unprincipled, and then he takes steroids, and everything goes right, so he's strong. At what point is he going to build principles? Never. So when you take someone who's weak and unprincipled and tormented, and they suddenly become strong and unprincipled, and they can torment, oh, it's roid rage. No, it's just suddenly being able to be capable to do all the aggressive, ridiculous things that either were done to you or that you never had the opportunity to do. Ooh, it's wide open. And so you're aggressive. And then eventually you crack because living a life of lack of principle just spirals down. Plenty of people are going to be killing their wives or kids, but plenty of people will just be miserable, overly aggressive. For example, look up The Ultimate Warrior. Steroids made him a lunatic. But it's the blowback when weak, unprincipled men get all the strength but without the principle. Now back to the snipers. Again, imagine the introspection suppressants. It's perfectly good. It's useful. It's necessary. Now we don't need our athletes being really athletic, but we need our snipers being really obedient. You can't. I mean, how many headshots would you take if every time you said, wait, so who is this guy again? Why am I blowing his head off? Oh, right, I took my blockers. Just shooting whoever. So, feel free to drive Lance Armstrong out of the village, because that's what they did with the original scapegoats. There was a problem, all this stuff, all these people doing unprincipled things but getting encouraged to do it. Yeah, be deformed, be ridiculous, be a meticulous lie to these meticulous lies. That's the problem. But no, all those problems, they go into this goat, this Lance Armstrong. This is where it came from. Look in your Bible. And we send that goat out of the village. Get out of here, Lance Armstrong. You use performance enhancement. And then we all stand around with our performance enhancements. We have the billionaire slave descendant setting a bad example for everyone. With the burnt hair, the face, the clothes, the high heels. We have bodyguards, men lying constantly, women lying constantly, snipers. These are just some examples. But yeah, toss the scapegoat Lance Armstrong out and your unprincipled performance enhancement. But it's much bigger than that. So feel free to shoot the messenger, but the message is bulletproof. Go back to sleep.